Hello, fellow YouTubers. This is Roy. Welcome to my channel. Tonight's going to be an interesting night. We're going to use gold, tin, copper, and some aluminum. And we're going to put it up against some plasma. We'll start off with, I got this 6-inch vacuum ball. And we're going to stuff this vacuum ball with different elements. First, let's go ahead and just fire up the tester coil. I got the spark gap real tight. Come on, take it out. Spark gap's real tight. You take this ball, we're going to stick it over it.
All right, so I disconnected the speaker. Good call on the speaker. Can you hear me now? Breaker, breaker, 19. Can you hear me now? Is it clear? Thanks, Jason. All right, let's see if we can withstand the loud and clear. All right, so we're going to take this vacuum ball and we're going to stuff it with some gold and some tin. Put it over here. Let's put the light on. Lights on. Let's turn this off. Let's turn that off. And let's go over here. I'm going to put you on my little stand. And we're going to stuff this vacuum ball. I'll show you what I have to put in there. And then we're going to look for colors. Colors of the color chart and versus the material that we're going to put in here. So this is a vacuum ball. It's minus, I think, 26 pounds negative. Okay. And we're going to, I got this gold. Can you guys see that right there? Let me see. Let me get you in a place where you can see the gold. I got this gold that's in here. It's gold flake. And what we're going to do is pull the gold flake out. Sorry about my hand being in the way. That's enough gold flake. And then I got this. This is tin. Let's check it with a magnet. So it sticks to a magnet, so it's tin. Okay. So it creates a magnetic field. So this inside here, let's go ahead and scoop up the gold. Put some gold in here. It's like making a cake, guys. Remember I was talking to you about the seed? What I meant by the seed was basically what I'm doing here is you're taking an element. This is a pure element of gold. This is 24 karat gold, by the way. And I'm going to pack that down inside the center chamber. And then now we're going to stuff it so it doesn't come out. And then we'll pack it in just like we're packing a musket. And I'm going to push that in there so it's tight and compressed. So we're going to compress the gold, and we're in there. I believe that's tin or nickel. I got to look on the chart. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this chubby and we're going to put it on the tester coil. So I guess what I want you guys to look at is, one, you've seen it without the ingredients in the glass, right? And that chamber does have a vacuum in there. But the goods, the gold and the tin, are not in vacuum. They're in a negative. No, they're in a positive. So right now, it's kind of, it was overcast all day, so it'd be a good dew point. You know, not dew point, but a good humidity. And that affects the atmosphere of where I'm at right now. And so it'll be a lot of moisture in there, I guess, based on the air molecules themselves. But they're probably a plus 26 or 24 or 27 pounds per pressure. A little bit above sea level, probably 50 feet, maybe 60 feet. I know, Robert, you got it good there, man. The atmosphere is key. So if you think about what I'm doing here on this test, is that we have a vacuum chamber 6-inch ball with a minus 26 to 27 pounds of negative pressure. And then we're packing the center cylinder. "10 feet above sea level." We're a little higher. As you come off the beach, EL, I'm back from the beach probably 10 miles. So we're up in the anywhere between 50, 60 feet up. It climbs, but not so much. That ain't nothing as far as elevation. But yeah, so we're dealing with the pressure, we're dealing with the atmosphere, we're dealing with a chamber in the middle that's, hey, what's going on, you? My boy, you Williams in the house. 50 feet. Yeah, there you go. So, which ain't much elevation. I like Pascal. So, with the chamber right here, you got a 6-inch vacuum chamber ball, and then you got a probe in the middle of it with nothing but just air. And now that we have gold in there and we packed it with, it's either tin or it's it's magnetizable, so I think it might be nickel. I think that might be nickel. I think that's nickel, but I'll have to check. We'll find exactly, because we're looking for color that is going to come out of this center here and how it's going to radiate out, because we're shaking up a lot of energy, and we're shaking up the ether, the space around this Tesla coil. So we're rattling the cage a little bit, if that's a good way to put it. So let's go ahead and get you up close. I'm going to turn the light down with that big light. And kind of get you right in there so you can see what the difference is. Alright. Let's fire up the Tesla coil. Remember, I got the spark gap on real low. So we do got a nice little stream sticking out. I'm going to get you off the stand, give you a better view. Let's go ahead and spread the gap a little bit. Woo, doggy. Let's put in some other kind of metal. So one thing you can notice, that I noticed, is that the gold seemed to have everything coming out in the center. The gold let's see what happens to the material inside. This time, we're going to put a piezo crystal. Oh, it just broke. That was too much voltage for my beautiful little glass bulb. Alright guys, here I sit broken hearted, tried to shit but only farted. You only get a half a video. It is hot, the glass. It's okay, it's a beautiful glass. Now I just plug the bottom, guys. What I'll do is put a cork in here and suck the air out of it. Let me see. Oh, there's a crack right there. There's a crack. Well, we were just getting ready to stick some copper in there, along with crystal. And I wanted you to see that. Alright guys, well, I'm just going to leave you at this. I've been building some coils, and the one coil that I'm building right now is a induction coil a la Tesla, a la Maxwell. No, actually, a la Faraday induction coil. I get excited with Maxwell because that's my plasma work with the ether. But with Faraday, the induction coil is the one I'm building is going to be an inductive coil, induction coil that has a capacitor and a tank circuit, and it's going to be an oscillator with a spark gap, and it'll be an oscillator based on the frequency and resonancy of how I'm building it. We'll get into that. And it's going to come off of the back end of the Bedini. And this is pretty unique. This is the magnets will the pulse rate on this coil, and we're this time not coming off of the coils because I'm not interested in these 8-filer or 10-filer total. Just 2 are running the wheel. We're going to come off the magnetism side, which is the core on the back end of the coil. And what we're going to do is we're going to include 2 more coils and actually 3 more coils, 4 more coils, and one will be a oscillating tank circuit a la Tesla, to be coming off the magnetic side on the back of this Bedini. So when this goes off, it'll be going into this core that I'm starting, which will be my primary. And there's a bunch of laminates on the inside of my primary. And this is from an old Buzz box. You can see there are little laminates. And the reason we want the little laminates, we want more permeability. And with having more permeability, we'll knock down the eddy current, and we'll also knock down the current. And this will have 2 coils going over it, which will be wound. See, that's already a magnet. It'll be wound similar to this, that will go over there, and then there'll be another one that I have that'll go over there, like so. You're going to love this. I'll post out the circuitry of it. So this is going to be an oscillating tank circuit right here. Oscillating tank circuit. And then we're going to use 1 more coil that's going to be, well, actually 2 more coils. So you have a core, a laminated core, inductively going into this core, inductively, which is the primary. So these 2 coils going into a capacitor and going into a spark gap, which I'm going to use this right here, an old Buzz box gapper. There's your points there, as the core pulls itself, it pulls and oscillates the system. So that's going to be on the front end. One thing cool about this is I figured out through my experiment a couple days ago that I can build a electromagnetic diode, my own diode. Forget about regular diodes. You build your own electromagnetic. And if you think about what we're going to be doing here, is there's going to be a dipole. So why we're using this is because we're coming off of here. This will be fired north. Well, let's think about this. The front of the magnets are north. Let's think about the poles going all the way through. Let's talk about the poles going through. So I was wrong with that being north. Here's your north here, and here's your north here. So you got not a dipole here. You got a half a wave. So what you'll have here is when you create an electromagnetic field, whatever this pole is, we'll put an opposing pole facing it. So that means the front of this coil is going to be, if this is north and that's north, that's south, that means this will be north facing south. Okay? And then on the back end of this coil is going to be south. Now what we're going to do with the next circuitry that comes off of this will be 2 more coils with no core, and we're going to put an LED on the last coil, and we're going to have the magnetic field that comes off of here and that reaches out here will be on that coil, and that coil, because of the LED in front of it, it's pole driven. So that means that it will create, as long as it's hooked up right, it will create, if this is going to be the north and that's the south, that means this coil on the outside here will be a north pole, and then the outside of that coil will be south. So when I take the center coil that's not in play here, because the dipole starts from here, this coil, expands out into this coil, and then expands another dipole out into this coil, and then all of a sudden I sneak in another coil in the middle, in between, and I set the coil up in a certain way to where this doesn't become a dipole to this coil, it only becomes a dipole to this coil. So by it now, this outside coil being a dipole to this coil and not making its way back to this coil, when you put a load on this middle coil, this coil that originated the load, because it's getting it inductively off of this load, which is the real originator, but inductively this is juiced up and sending out a high voltage. Coming off the high voltage, on the opposite end of the core, we're working on the electromagnetic diode and the field area here that's in between the two outside coils now, which become the new dipole. So we're skipping through a coil and going into this outside pair of coils, and now you don't put a load on this coil, which won't put any more load on this coil. Therefore, inductively with the atmosphere, this middle third coil should be getting energy for free. Leave your comments. Hopefully you enjoy. Peace out, my bro hands.